Well, welcome back to the Spotless Stadium. We're about to get underway. In fact, the bell has sounded for the next of our show jumping classes, class number 238, 2.2. And welcome to all those live streaming online. Let me tell you, though, you are missing out if you are not here at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. And I tell you, if you can, any way possible, jump on a plane, jump in a car, and come out to the showground because we are seeing world-class competition. I saw a few saying we wish more classes were being streamed, but let me tell you, the best place to be is sitting here. There is beautiful shade on one side of the arena. We have a members bar right there for drinks to be able to be served, and we have all of the action here in the main arena. So we welcome now the first of our riders out into the arena. And this is Russell Johnson running in a Article 238 2.2. It's a jump-off competition for our Group A Section 1 horses. So all those on the best possible score of 0 will be invited back for the jump-off. The winner of the class will be the horse-rider combination with the least number of penalties and the quickest time. This is the McCann family nomination of Depreece. Time allowed, 79 seconds. In the first round, there are 12 obstacles, 15 efforts. The treble at 8A, B, C, and the combination at 5A, 5B. Penalties are incurred if you exceed the time allowed of 79 seconds or if you alter the height of a jump. Basically, if you're not one rail or the entire jump down, you pick up 4 jumping penalties. The object of the game in the sport of show jumping is to try and stay on the best possible score of 0. 2 fences left to go for Russell Johnson. Cross your fingers. Come on, Russell. Final fence. Is this our first clear round? Safely over the last. We'll check the time. Under the time allowed. Just all clear. 79 seconds time allowed. 78.31. 78.31. No jumping penalties. No time penalties. Olympian Russell Johnson and Depreece crosses the finish line. No jumping penalties. No time penalties and all clear, giving us a clear round. So with one clear round, now we want as many clear rounds as we can possibly get as we welcome out into the arena Brooklin Becker. And Brooke is riding Quintago 1. This combination, victorious over our friends in New Zealand. I said it on Facebook at the time. I'll say it again now. There's one thing better than beating a Kiwi, and that's beating a Kiwi on their home turf. And this young lady, her first foray representing Australia on an international stage. She's just 20 years of age. She comes to us from Bow Desert and works at Embrook Stables. And she rides the beautiful stallion Quintago 1. And great to see her stepping out here in the Group A Section 1 competition at the 2018 Sydney Royal Easter Show. Well, we can see the horsepower fence. There's a rail out of the cups. So that is 4 jumping penalties. Now, if you can imagine, this horse here, he would weigh somewhere between 500 and 600 kilos, maybe even a fraction more. Those rails that you see out there weigh no more than 16 or 17 kilos. They sit in a plastic cup, and all of them have a plastic cap on the end of the timber rail. So it takes very little for the horse to knock it down. We are seeing international standard here in a Group A Section 1. At Olympic level, we jump 1.60 metre, and our course today is 1.50 metre to 1.60 metre in height. We have international course designer. The highest level that you can obtain as a course designer is 5-star. And FEI 5-star course designer, Mr. Wenadig, is our course designer here today. International judge, Mr. Ho Na Yu from Singapore, is watching over proceedings. Hey, Brooklin Becker safely over the last. 79.94, 79.94, just over the time allowed. 1 time penalty. 4 jumping penalties, a total of 5 for Brooklin Becker and Quintago 1. So our judge, as we introduced him before, is Mr. Ho Na Yu. Now, girls and boys, I don't know if you're very good at your 4 times table. I have over the years become a little bit better because, in fact, although we have an international judge here, and there are some finer details that he is looking at, the winner is judged on how they perform, not on their paces, not on their manners, not on their presentation, just whether they jump a fence cleanly or whether they knock it down. So that means you could put the judge's hat on. You watch as they go around this course. If you see a jump get knocked down, front or back rail, we add 4 jumping penalties to the score. The object of the game is to stay on the best possible score of 0. If we can stay on 0, that is what we want. Interesting, at Olympic level, world stage, and here at Sydney Royal, in equestrian, men and women compete on an equal playing field. So we don't have competition for men in show jumping and then women. We are all in it together. And so often it is our women that are our leading riders. It's not a skill about strength or speed. It's about connection with your horse and being able to get your horse to the correct takeoff point. The sport of show jumping, you want to try and get about 1.8 metres or 6 foot if you work in the old school, like my old mate Lindsay does. Each stride, the horse takes about 12 foot or 3.6 metres. And so you need to be able to either shorten that stride or lengthen that stride to get to that correct takeoff point. It sounds so easy, but you need millimetre accuracy, particularly at this level. And this is unfortunate. That back rail on the first fence fell on the ground. So carrying just the 4 jumping penalties. RSB Jacana. Oh, first and last fence fall to the ground. 8 jumping penalties. $76.08 the time taken. $76.08. That's the 2 rails down. 8 jumping penalties. No time penalties. A total of 8.
Well, Tim, if you are wanting to meet the men that jump on rough stock out here in the part of the night show, our cowboys from all over Australia, you can actually go and meet them now. They're available for about another 10 minutes to sign autographs, have a chat to you, get photos. They're all down at the Horse Experience set up,
I was going to say, where are they?
Down at the Horse Experience. Our cowboys are there every day between 1:30 and 2.
You'd know where the Horse Experience is quite well. It's right near the Cattleman's Bar.
I don't know where the Cattleman's Bar is. Could you describe that to me?
It is literally, if you go out here behind the members' stand, down the ramp, turn left and walk along there, you'll find the Horse Experience. I think your nose just grew a little bit bigger there, Lindsay Douglas.
We're looking around the main arena now. We've got 3 fantastic classes in action on top of our show jumping here. Just under the Martin and Angus stand, you can see that we are judging our show hunter Galloways over 14.2 and not exceeding 15 hands with Mr. Rodney Martin. Just in front of the Sutter stand in ring 2, we're judging our show hunters over 15.2 and not exceeding 16 hands with Mrs. Linda Hayes officiating. And in front of the Sydney Royal stand and a bit of the member stand here, it's class 571, open show hunter pony over 13.2, not exceeding 14 hands. And Ms. Julie Taylor is our judge.
Well, just carrying the 1 rail down at this stage as we welcome out into the arena now. Our final fence to go. Andrew Lamb sets up for the final fence, safely over the last. Stops the clock, 80.19, 80.19, just over the time allowed. So time allowed, 79 seconds. 2 riders have incurred a time penalty, 4 jumping penalties, 1 time penalty, a total of 5. For Andrew Lamb and CP Argento. As we now welcome out Bridget Berry, born and bred in New Zealand, both horse and rider.
Winner, please.
And now based here in Sydney, on the banks of the Nepean River. It is Bridget Berry riding Tourlawn NZ PH.
Well, in front of the Sutter stand now, bringing you the results of Class 591. Show Hunter over 15.2 and not exceeding 16 hands. Congratulations, catalogue 1576 EBL Rich List. The connections there, Asher Hendler and J&R Equestrian based at the Oaks. In second place, catalogue number 1787, Cavalli Royal Rory. In third place, 1121 Fremantle. In fourth, 1753 Skyview HB Hits. In fifth, 2317 Illarac Dontrell. In sixth, 1018 Exuberance. And in seventh place, catalogue number 1705 Gretz. Probably have write-off music for a little bit in a sec.
Well, Bridget Berry, old habits die hard. She only got married in January this year. Mum and Dad, Walker and Juliet Hanson, have produced some amazing horses with the New Zealand Performance Horses, based at the very picturesque Hawke's Bay in New Zealand. Bridget and her partner, husband now, Jono, based out here at Castlereagh, the beautiful property of Deirdre Hartog, and Toulon NZPH. Well, this combination jumped right through to World Cup level. Had great success. Sees a flyer to the triple bar. Clear at this stage. Time allowed 79 seconds, though. We look at the clock. And a rail down at the second last. Comes down to the final fence. Oh, too late rails. 8 jumping penalties. 1 time penalty. A total of 9 for Bridget Berry and Toulon NZPH. Well, we now stride her out into the arena. We welcome the next of our riders, Ali Lamb. Ali is riding Diamond B Corsica. Ali and Andrew Lamb have a massive dairy operation down there in Denison, just out of Sale in the East Gippsland, one of the big dairy parts of Australia. And Ali being a top show jumping rider for many years. Diamond B Corsica looking sensational here on a glorious day at the Sydney Royal Easter Show. As we said, welcome to all those live streaming around the country, around the world. Looks like we've got some of our New Zealand friends watching today, so welcome to our Kiwis. We have a New Zealand rider coming up in our competition, the Group A Section 1 International Standard here this year. As it is every year, it's one of the best shows on the calendar for our show jumping riders. This stage, the first rider. It's amazing how that happens. Came out, made it look very simple, made it look clear, just under the time allowed. Time allowed 79 seconds. 78.31 was Russell Johnson and DePriest's nomination. And their time. They're all clear. So he knows he's into the jump off. How many more are going to join him? Lamb just rolled the front rail down of 5A, the first of our combinations. So if you knock one rail or you knock the entire jump, you pick up the same number of penalties. If you have a disobedience on the course, then you pick up 4. The riders must jump the fences in numerical order. They get a chance to walk the course. So hopefully over the last 80.42, 80.42, 4 jumping penalties, 1 time penalty, a total of 5. And We now welcome out yesterday's winner. Had a super ride here yesterday. One of the fiercest competitors in the competition. We've had 3 open show jumping competitions before this one. And this man has won 2 of them. And he was close to winning the last one, all bar one rail getting in the way. It is Tom McDermott, and he is riding Diamond. Tom and his partner Gordon, well, they have a very successful business with his mum and dad out at Fernhill Equestrian. And he is riding Diamond. Oh, Diamond, the young imported warm blood mare. You can see our camera crew just looking at the horse's legs there. Those boots, they're called tendon boots. They protect the horse. They're open in front, but they protect from the back legs coming through from behind. They also wear boots on their back legs as well. And they are there to protect the legs from brushing beside one another. In the horse's shoes, you'll find what they call studs. Look like football studs that are screwed in to give the horse a bit more grip here on the turf arena at the Spotless Stadium. You'll see Diamond is wearing what we call a bonnet or a deafener, so that helps her concentrate. To Tom, the ears over the horse's ears are there to let the horse focus on the rider and not be distracted by all of the action here in the Spotless Stadium. As we said earlier, though, our judge not judging style, form, presentation, how the horse looks, just whether fence is jumped cleanly or knocked down. So carrying the 8 jumping penalties as he comes to the final fence. Safely over the last, 74.39, 74.39. 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8. Well, we move on now to number 8 in the draw. And we welcome out Kate Hinchin. And Kate is riding CD Visage, Chronic Dominant Visage. Finished just outside of our top 10 here yesterday. A lovely round, a little bit unlucky, I reckon. She did jump a super job. She's also in form on the Finch Farm Cadell earlier today. Now, next of our competitors to go, Kate Hinchin. Well, we're moving through the list here. Well, carrying the 8 jumping penalties as she comes down to the final fence, safely over the last, stops the clock. 78.93, 78.93. So under the time allowed of 79 seconds. 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8. One of 4 riders only who have not got a time penalty. Our international course designer is really saying to these riders, you need to be travelling at that 350 metres per minute. So he measured the course to be a length of 460 metres if you tried the fences accurately. The reason we have a time allowed is that increases the degree of difficulty, because otherwise a rider could almost have a break, have a cup of tea, and then set themselves up for the next fence. So the idea of the time allowed is to force these riders to commit down these lines and keep that true, free-flowing canter. Clint Beresford is the runner-up in the Olympic Cup at the Horse of the Year, winner in the Trans-Tasman in Team Australia with Stewie Jenkins and Brooklin Becker and himself over in New Zealand, and he won the Silver Fern over there and was the most successful leading Grand Prix rider in New Zealand. Had a super show on Jason or Emmaville Jitterbug.
Winner, please. Bringing you the results now of Class 680 underneath the Martin and Angus stand. It's our Show Hunter Galloway class over 14.2 and not exceeding 15 hands. In first place, congratulations, catalogue number 2247 EBL One Night in Paris. In second place, catalogue 1064 Cruise. In third place, 2225 Miss Melody. In fourth place, catalogue 1535 Tiffin's Encore. In fifth place, 2028 Ballador Encore. In sixth place, 2048 Clebelly Park, Madrid. And in seventh place, 1704 Yandala Park Twilight. Well, congratulations to Hunter Taylor of Fitzroy Falls with the win in that class. EBL One Night in Paris.
Hey, Lindsay Douglas, we have a jump off. Clint Beresford, he was third here yesterday with just one rail down. He's into the jump off. We are now guaranteed a second round. We can stop chewing our fingernails, hoping it would happen. We've made it happen. Well done, Clint. Emmaville Jitterbug, no jumping penalties, no time penalties. And our second clear round, time taken, 77.96, putting him in equal first position. So he and Russell now go head-to-head. Can we get a few more in there? Well, a young lady direct from New Zealand out of Cambridge, just outside of Auckland. We welcome out now the one and only Lily Tootle and Ulysses NZPH. Lily, no stranger to competition here in Australia. We had her here for about 12 months where she worked as a working pupil for Rod Brown, Australian coach, Australian show jumping representative, Olympian Rod Brown. And Lily is riding the horse Bred. And a horse she purchased while here in Australia. It was bred in New Zealand, brought to Australia by Bridget Berry and the Hanson family, purchased by Lily and her mum and dad, Ulysses NZPH. I think it was the same fence yesterday that Lily had down. She finished a little bit down the list yesterday, just carrying the 4 jumping penalties. If we don't get 5 clear rounds, our minor placings will come from penalties and time in the first round. So a quick time here could put her into the leaderboard, safely on the last, just over the time allowed, 79.67, 79.67. 1 time penalty, 4 jumping penalties. That will put her into 5th place at this stage of the into 3rd place at this stage of the competition. So if we don't get 5 clear, potentially Lily could still feature in the lineup. So, lovely round. Tough jumping in the Group A Section 1. We said it was an international standard. We certainly are seeing the best of the best here. And the Royal Agricultural Society of New South Wales mantra is excellence in competition, and it's in competition that we create world standard. We were saying during the Grand Parade the other day, for a number of years, Australia has been importing horses for the sport of show jumping, but most recently, we've seen a great exporting of some of our top horses, and it's so exciting. One thing that's always good for any economy is when we see horses being produced and reared here in Australia, then being taken to Europe and sold. So that money comes straight back into our economy here in Australia. So here at Casiago, Gabby Kuna, our combination on course at the moment. And this pair, owned by Chuggy Equestrian, Chris Chug and Gabby Kuna, and ridden by Gabby. They were second here in yesterday's competition. It's the fastest of our 4 fault rounds. We did have only the one clear round yesterday, Tom McDermott. So today we've got two horses into the jump off. So she's carrying the 4. As we saw, Lily Toodle is on 5 penalties, and she is currently sitting third. So Gabby will have that in the back of her mind. She can keep rolling here. She could put herself up the leaderboard, but she could also risk having one down. She comes down to the final fence. She would have had the time good enough to go into third place, but 2 rails down. 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8, 77, 8, 2. That would have put her into third on the 4 faults, but unfortunately 2 rails down, 8 jumping penalties, no time penalties, a total of 8. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome the always smiling Lara Cameron. And she is riding number 12 in the draw. Tal and her husband Dave run Redleaf Stables out here at Wilberforce in Sydney. They have a huge team of clients. They have some 50 horses based on their property. And they care for, train and encourage many of our leading junior and young riders, as well as have a team of performance horses themselves. Talara, a very successful 4-star eventer. Nowadays, we see her focusing far more on the show jumping world. Number 12 in the draw of 15, 4th last competitor to go. This is Lara Cameron riding Copperbella Verdi. Gremlin, as he's known around the stables, he's got a bit of a cheeky personality, this horse. Sometimes you love to hate him, other times you hate to love him. But he is very talented by the well-known coloured stallion Copperbella Visage. And this horse, Copperbella Verdi, is owned with Lara Cameron and Dave Cameron and Leslie Hargraves. And Lara Cameron safely over the last, 75.88. Just the 1 rail down. 4 jumping penalties at 8A. No time penalties. Hey, that'll put her into third place at this stage. 75.88. The eventer coming out in Tal. That was our quickest time on the course to date. And Gremlin gets a big pat. Good job, Tally. Well, next out into the arena, we welcome now Stephen Hill And Stephen riding Yolambi's Bellini Star. Still just the 2 clear rounds. Russell Johnson and Deprice. And Clint Beresford and Emmaville Jitterbug. Yolambi's Bellini Star. Warm Blood Mare, bred by Rory Hovell. Owned and ridden by Stephen Hill. This combination in 2016 represented Australia in Europe at the Nations Cup. And did Australia certainly proud. He was on the list for consideration for selection. Just missed out on the Rio Olympics. And he and his wife Amanda deciding to bring the Bellini Star back to Australia. He's been the runner-up Australian show jumping champion. Two fences left to go. All clear at this stage. We have a look at the time. It looks like it's right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, put your hands together. That's our 3rd clear round. Stephen Hill making it look like a Sunday afternoon stroll around the spotless stadium. That is a sensational ride. No jumping penalties, no time penalties, and all clear. Well, we just have 2 riders left to go as we welcome out now Jessica Brown. And Jess is riding number 14 in the draw, Casco. Casco, owned by Rod Brown and Equus, performance horses, ridden by Jess from Kalnura on the central coast of New South Wales. Finished in 5th place here yesterday, so she's had a taste of the winner's circle. Love to be there again today. Under the time allowed and clear, she'll guarantee herself a ribbon. Rail down, she needs to be quicker than 75.88. So we know that with 3 clear, 2 to go, we could have 5 into the jump off. That would be unbelievable, giving us a very exciting finish. As it is, we've got 3 of the best horses coming out for the jump off. This horse jumped in the Nations Cup final in Barcelona. I think she's all clear at this stage. A couple of years ago in Europe, obviously. Comes down to the final fence. Jess Brown safely over the last. Check the clock under the time allowed. We've got our 4th clear round. That is right. No jumping penalties. No time penalties. Jess Brown and Casco. Another clear round. That means we have 4 horses, 4 riders sitting in equal first place. At this stage, Lara Cameron hanging on to 5th place as our fastest of our 4 falters. It comes down to the final rider. Do we get 5 into the jump off? And we welcome out now. He's an oldie, but he's a goodie. Chris Chug. And he rides the young horse by the name of Ditto. See him just checking his girth on the saddle there. Now he gets underway. The bell sounds here. 45 seconds for which the rider has to start their round. Once he crosses the start line where the flower pots are, that commences the timing. And he's now underway. We can see how tight the time is, so they can't muck around, these riders. Nominated by Chuggy Equestrian. Comes up to the park bench and tree fence. Nicely over that. So, Russell Johnson, Clint Beresford, Stephen Hill and Jess Brown. They'll be currently learning the jump-off round. Out the back here.
Hey, how you going?
And 3 fences left to go. Come on, Chuggy. Is this our 5th clear round? He's all clear at this stage. 2 fences between Chris and the finish line. 11's right. Comes down to the final fence. Check the time, ladies and gentlemen. That is our 5th clear round. Look at that, 77.90. Like poetry in motion, we have 5 place getters, 5 clear rounds, no jumping penalties, no time penalties, and all clear for our show jumping rider, Chris Chug. And that means that we'll have Russell Johnson, Clint Beresford, Yolambis Bellini Star, Stephen Hill, Casco, Jess Brown, and Ditto and Chris Chug all coming back for the 2nd round. The jump-off course will be changed. It will be fences 2, 3, 10, 11, 8B, 8C, 5A, 6 and 7. Length of the second course is 330 metres. Time allowed, 57 seconds. Every player gets a prize. And we'll look forward to all of the competition still to come here today.
Now, well, we've got plenty going on this afternoon here in Spotless Stadium, but it really heats up in the evening, and I've got one of our guests here, 2 of our guests, in fact, from one of the highlights of our night program, Lara Cameron. Welcome back to the broadcast box.
Good to be back there, Lindsay. Excited about tonight's rodeo performance. This is the last-ditch effort for the boys to qualify for the shootout final tomorrow.
So what does that mean for these boys now? How are they feeling today?
Well, you know, if they've still got that shot, they're hungry to do their work. They need to get that qualified ride. The 8-second dream is alive and well here at Sydney for the Federation Challenge. And, of course, in the steer wrestling, they've just got to give that steer the allocated head start. Don't break the barrier because it'll cost them 10 seconds in a speeding fine. They've just got to slam one to the ground and do it quick.
So for the boys and girls who are in Sydney Royal Easter Show for the first time and they've perhaps never seen a rodeo before, let's walk through the elements. Can you help describe in layman's terms perhaps a saddle bronc ride?
All right, a saddle bronc ride, that's what we call the classic event, because really it was the saddle bronc riding competition was the initial start to what we know as the sport of rodeo. It started out just on the horse breakers out on the properties out west, and they decided that between stations, let's see who could ride the toughest horse that bucked in the pen just at home. Well, now it's a tailor-made competition that's 8 seconds. Now, the spurring motion in saddle bronc riding is a front to back, so it goes all the way from the front of the horse back to the back of the saddle, and they've got to do that as the horse gathers and kicks out for each and every jump.
Now, is that any harder or easier than the bull ride?
Well, it's what you don't plan on in the bull riding that makes it a little bit harder than bronc riding. I think saddle bronc riding is probably the toughest to get down, but once you've got the knack of it, you can be a very consistent place getter as long as you've got the horses to match.
And then at the end of every rodeo, they do this competition that to me just seems crazy. They jump off a horse at full pace and dive onto a steer.
That makes sense, doesn't it?
No, it does not, Larry. What is that all about?
Well, I call it steer wrestling, and pretty much that's what it is. You wrestle a steer to the ground. You do have 2 horse people in the actual run. You've got a bloke called a hazer, and the hazer's job is just to help guide that steer. So the steer wrestler who's going to leave his horse has a good shot at getting the 2 horns. Then he needs to have his feet out in front of him, and he turns him to the left, levers off the hip, and slams him to the ground. When all 4 feet are horizontal one way, that's when the flag judge drops the flag, and that is when time is taken. Now, the record in Australia with a barrier set anywhere in the country is 2.8 seconds.
That is seriously fast.
So forget about my explanation. That's how quick it can be.
So blink of an eye, on one beast, onto another, but often the steer comes out trumps, don't they?
Most definitely. And of course, if a guy pushes too much too soon, there's quite a few ride-bys. This week's been pretty good. We've only had one cowboy that just totally missed him, and unfortunately that was last year's Australian Professional Rodeo Association Steer Wrestling Champion. He went for the quick catch. The steer sort of felt him, propped up, and left him behind. So he rode on by.
Ooh.
At full breakneck speed.
Now, the whole sport of rodeo is very popular in Australia, but of course it is massive in the United States, the Northern Hemisphere. Can I have a winner, please? And I want to ask you a little bit about the influence of that here in a moment, but we've got a result just coming through now. I'll bring in the results now of Class 571, right in front of the Sydney Royal stand, that gorgeous blue ribbon, ready to be presented for the Open Show Hunter Pony winner over 13.2, not exceeding 14 hands. Congratulations, 2279 Owendale Rembrandt. Congratulations to Francine Treneman, Miss Kate Treneman Duncan, and the family there at Rossmore. Presentation currently being made by our lovely judge, Miss Julia Taylor. In second place, catalogue 2179, Astral Royal Sensation. In third place, it's 1375, Sanlira Joker. Fourth place, catalogue 1347, Hanley Park Thumper. In fifth place, 1988, Melody Park, Heavenly Pearl. And in sixth place, 1356, Bambara Country Road. Well, as we see the presentation of those gorgeous ribbons there for our Open Show Hunter Pony class over 13.2. I'm joined in the broadcast box by the voices behind our Federation Series Rodeo Championship here. So, Lara Cameron, you spent a lot of time in the US perfecting your craft, both in the arena and now as the voice of the arena.
Yeah, ironically, yes, started as a competitor and then went into radio, actually. And I suppose it was going to be an easy correlation to start calling my favourite sport, and hence calling rodeos and bull rides all around the countryside.
You're in your dream job. It must be pretty unsafe, though, standing in there every night.
It does make you wonder, and I don't know what it is, but it doesn't matter which rodeo it is, there's always that one animal that wants to run over the announcer. But there's a barrelman this year, yes. And he's proving that bulls are very, very user-friendly. They come right up to them.
Dennis Holstead, welcome to the broadcast box, all the way from beautiful Canada.
Oh, thank you very much for having me. It's truly an honour to be here.
Now, for the boys and girls that haven't seen you in action before, what exactly is your job?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. Actually, you know what? I actually have two jobs at a rodeo. Of course, I have the entertainment job, which is where I work with Larry. We do the comedy stuff, quite a few jokes, just playing around, having fun with the crowd. Of course, it's an entertainment thing, trying to keep the crowd involved. And that's a fun job. And then I have a very serious job. And the job for the serious part is, of course, I work a barrel in the bull riding. And it's my job to make sure that barrel's in a position. If a cowboy or a bull rider gets in trouble, they come to me behind the barrel. I take the hit in the barrel, and me and a bull go for a ride. And if you were here on either the first two perfs, I had a brand new barrel built. And on the second night, like Larry said, I think I set a new record here in Australia for about 100 meters across that arena after he smoked me and put about a 4-inch dent in my barrel. So...
Hey, Dennis, can we get you to stir the bulls up a bit more? Because when you do, that's when we see the excitement. You're just dropping down very quickly lately.
I'll tell you what, people always ask me, so what's it like to ride in a barrel? I tell them it's like being thrown in a dryer, turn the dryer on, and then throw it down a flight of stairs. That's exactly what it's like to ride in a barrel. So.
Yeah, but it looks so good from up here. So.
Oh, I'm sure it does. You got to see it. I tell you what, I've had hat cams and different cameras and stuff in my career in my barrel and stuff. And boy, I'll tell you what, it makes for some great pictures. I know that.
So I'm also quite curious as to who you both think are the boys to watch out for tonight. If people are coming along tonight and they need to get behind someone, who do you recommend?
Well, in the bareback bronc riding, one of the big matchups will be former bucking horse of the year from JP Gill & Sons, Ramblin' Angel in the bareback, and it's your Canadian patriot.
Oh, really?
young Danny Vandermeer, all the way from Innisfail, Alberta, Canada, is strapping himself into a wild one. Big grey, you won't miss that one. That's definitely one to watch for. Probably the hot man that's out tonight in the bareback bronc riding. He's placed up in both the first and second rounds, is the Kiwi cowboy from Havelock North in New Zealand, Ross Dowling. He's been pretty tough to beat. It's only been Travis Heeb with two big monster rides, 82 and 88 in the last two nights, that really is shaking up the bareback bronc riding rankings right now. When it comes to steer wrestling tonight, I suppose it's going to be a little toss-up. There hasn't been any outstanding for both rounds so far in competition, but it seems like the Headland boys from out of Junee, they've won one round each, and this is the third round tonight to qualify for that shootout round. Watch out for Matt Headland. He was 4.4 in round number 1 to take the win. Saddle bronc riding, I guess, what could you say? 2 times Australian Pro Rodeo champion Brad Pearce is out tonight. Ben Matum won the first round with a big 84. There's a couple of bronc riders. And in the bull ride, watch for Lachlan Slade or Braden Welby. Braden Welby, the North Queenslanders on Lucky Dip, and Lachlan Slade is on the bull that Jason Ahern was 87 points on in round number 1, back in business.
Oh, we cannot wait to see it this evening. What time can we expect to see the rodeo?
Tonight, it's an early time, so make a date to join us in the Spotless Stadium. Set yourself up with a good vantage point from 5:20, and we'll kick off at 5:30 sharp.
Larry Can, Dennis Holberg, Halstead, thanks for joining us so much here in the broadcast box. I know we've got some show jumping to get to now, and we'll see you this afternoon.
Thank you.
Well, show jumping straight away back here. Welcome back to the Spotless Stadium. We have our first horse on course coming down to the second last fence. It is Dupreece Russell Johnson carrying the clear in the first, clear in the second, stops the clock. 54.50, 54.50. Safely over the last for Russell Johnson and Dupreece. Well, Russell Johnson stops the clock, 54.50. 54.50, all clear in the first round, all clear in the second round. So that puts him into the lead. As our second rider will be out. Russell will be Clint Beresford. And Clint is riding Emmaville Jitterbug. Clint Beresford on course now. He is all clear. The time to beat, 54.50 on Emmaville Jitterbug. We're over the shortened course against the clock. It is at 2, 3, 10, 11, 8AB. So 8BC, 5A, 6 and 7. One fence left to go. Has he done enough on the clock? He's going to be close. The time is ticking up. Clint Beresford down to the final fence. Safely on the last. It's a clear round and a new leader. 53.47, 53.47. Safely over the last and all clear. Putting him into first place, Russell Johnson sitting in second. 53.47 and all clear for Clint Beresford. And boy, what a start to this jump-off round for class number 855, the Group A Section 1 competition. And that has just said Clint Beresford, one of the quickest in the country. I've put a clear round that is very quick against the clock on the board. As we welcome out now, Stephen Hill, Yolambi's Bellini Star. Very different going horse to Clint. This is a big mare, powerful. Eats ground up like the Cookie Monster eats cookies. It is very quick across the ground, this mare. It doesn't look like it. You watch her, though. Time to beat, 53.47. Not wasting any time. Time can be made up by getting to the fence quickly, getting away from it quickly. Lands 1, 2 strides. She was 90 degrees, 3 strides. She's turned fully and she's into the combination. Only gave it 1 stride before that. Again, Land gets the inside turn here. Stephen Hill playing for money. He's not here for a good time. He's here for a quick time. Rolls on down. 2 fences left to go. Angles across the wall. Now he turns to the final fence. 53.47 the time to beat. Comes up safely over the last through the finish. Stops the clock. 50.30. New leader in the competition. Oh my smokes. What are we doing here? They're getting quicker and quicker this afternoon. 50.30. What a ride from Stephen Hill. He goes into the lead. Clint now into second. And Stephen and Russell Johnson, the veteran of the lineup so far, he's currently sitting in third place. Normally we say going later in the draw is a bonus. Let me tell you, I think today in this competition you will have wanted to come out early because all it means is pressure. Pressure, pressure, pressure out here in the spotless stadium. We now welcome out second last rider to go, Jess Brown. Right, there's not an opportunity to count around and jump a nice clear round. If she wants to win, she's got to go hard from the first fence. Jess Brown and Casco, and she does. Jumps 1 and attacks to 2. Of course, Jess and Rod and the team at Equus feed and use horsepower, the feed of champions. Here's where time can be made up. Look at this. Lands, turns straight away. Yep. Everyone else has come inside the wall. So has Jess. Oh, she got deep to the combination. A's there. Now, interesting. Stephen Hill did get inside back to 5A. Might not have been that much quicker, though, you know, because it was a little unorganised. Have a look at the clock. 50.30. Don't think she's going to quite take the lead. Has she done enough for a minor place? She turns for the final fence. 8 flew over the last. Come on, Sydney, give her a round of applause. Great jumping. 58.92 into 4th place. 58.92 and clear. Putting her into 4th place. Lucky Phil, my sound man's watching. 2 time penalties there for Jess. So time allowed, 57 seconds in a jump off. You get 1 time penalty for every second or part thereof over the time allowed. 57, so 58.92, just under 2 seconds over the time allowed. So welcome out our final rider into the arena, Chris Chug and Ditto.
Well, bringing you the results now of Class 593, Show Hunter over 16.2. Right in front of the member stand. Congratulations, catalogue number 2297, Federer. In second place, catalogue 1782, Power Play. In third, catalogue 2178, Kuraman Winterfell Hit. In fourth, 2023, RVL Radiant. In fifth place, 2357, Bella Rossa. And in sixth place, 1706, Remy Louboutin.
Thank you, Lindsay. We'll come back to those results again in a moment. The pressure is right on here in the show jumping. Chris Chug is leaving no stone unturned. He is all clear at this stage. 2 fences left to go. Rolling on down to the second last. Can he get there on the clock? The time to beat, 50.30. He's right on the pace as he turns to the final fence. Safely over the last through the finish. It's a clear round. 52.44. Close, but not close enough. Second place. Great ride. Hey, Sydney, congratulations. What a show we've had here this afternoon. It shows what good courses, good ground, good gear and good horses does for sensational show jumping. And well done to Stephen Hill and Ditto. Well, what a great win to Stephen Hill and Yolambi's Bellini Star. And Lindsay, it was a great class down here that all happens at once in the Spotless Stadium.
It does. So we didn't really get a chance to talk a bit about our winner in the Show Hunter over 16.2 class, but it's a good opportunity to now. It was catalogue number 2297. You can see there Federer right in front of the Sutter stand, in front of our members. And Federer, exhibited here by Universal Stables and Rebecca Crane. They've travelled from Queensland, and they will be just delighted today with that blue ribbon. In second place, it was catalogue 1782 and Power Play. You can see them riding off now. In third place, Kuramin Winterfell Hit. That's catalogue 2178. They're riding off now. You can show them your appreciation. In fourth place, RVL Radiant. Fifth place, Bella Rossa. And sixth place, Remy Louboutin. These are winner and place getters in Show Hunter Hat class over 16.2. You can see our magnificent competitors in Class 592 making their way into Spotless Stadium now. Our show hunters over 16, not exceeding 16.2. That class will begin in a few moments' time, judged by Mrs. Linda Hayes.
Well, the fanfare sounds now for the presentation of our show jumping competition. And congratulations to the winner, Stephen Hill, riding Yalambi's Bellini Star. What a jump off it was here today. 5 clear rounds, 5 horses jumped clear in this second round. Stephen Hill, the quickest on the field and taking the win. Second place, congratulations to Chris Chug and Ditto, 52.44. Third place to Clint Beresford, Emmaville Jitterbug. Fourth place to Russell Johnson. I thought he'd done enough when he came out. Put a ripper time on the board, 54.50. And fifth place going to Jess Brown and Casco, picking up fifth place. But the man of the moment, Stephen Hill, welcome to Spotless Stadium. What an electric jump off that was today. Mate, to come out on top, you must be happy with that.
Yeah, for sure, Tim. It was an unbelievable jump off. Like, Russ and Clint come out and set the pace, and I sort of thought, well, it's going to take a bit of doing, but nah, the horse was good today, and I didn't have a rider error like yesterday, so come out on top, and hopefully we can stay up here for the rest of the show. It'd be nice, mate.
From Victoria, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the winner, Stephen Hill and Yalambi's Bellini Star, as we cross back to the broadcast box for some more results. Thanks, Lindsay.